Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to colleagues. I have deep concerns about this budget that was predicated from the start on a false narrative that a 10% property tax increase was needed to fund education. It didn't solve our overwhelming vacancy challenges, it added to them. It didn't increase revenues to address the structural deficit. It actually helped to create the structural deficit by using one-time revenues to fund ongoing expenses. There was a suggestion in this budget that we could somehow do everything all at once without any meaningful restructuring within county government to make it all work. The county executive has put this council in an impossible position, and I appreciate the way that this expanded body approached its work in extremely challenging circumstances. 2 months is simply not enough time for a legislative body to review every single vacant position and closely scrutinize every single program. When we asked for the county executive to recommend reductions to the approximately 1,500 vacancies, we were offered another Band-Aid, known as lapse, to gloss over the underlying issues. We need the county executive to fulfill his commitment over 2 campaigns and in 5 budget cycles to do the type of reorganizing and restructuring he promised, to work with labor partners and stakeholders to find a better way to utilize resources so we can provide services our residents need, expect, and deserve, to manage county government, and to lead our county. This budget supports many priorities we all share. It supports teachers, public safety professionals, and public employees at a time when they're working harder than ever. Funds public education at historic levels to meet unprecedented challenges in and out of the classroom, and it safeguards critical services for some of our community's most vulnerable residents. While there are many aspects of this budget I sincerely appreciate and strongly support, there are many tough choices I wish we had made to avoid even more difficult decisions in the future. I'm very concerned with the number of new positions we're adding at a time when we can't even come close to filling the positions we already have. I'm troubled by the volume of one-time revenues used to fund ongoing expenses and what that means for fiscal sustainability over time, and the very near-term potential for the need for draconian cuts to critical services or future tax increases. I'm disheartened that the council's recommendations for PAYGO to fund capital projects and spending affordability guidelines were completely ignored in the county executive's recommended budget, as were many of our established fiscal policies, developed in the aftermath of the last recession and needed perhaps more than ever as we head towards another potential downturn. I've been deeply disappointed by how people and priorities were pitted against one another in an unprecedented fashion. Until we change that level of public discourse, it will be very hard to have the type of constructive, collaborative conversations that are so necessary to make nuanced decisions in a sustainable and a responsible way. My concerns and reservations have been clear throughout this process, and they remain as we finish it. This budget funds many critical priorities, but it doesn't make the type of tough decisions needed to avoid tougher and harsher decisions next year and beyond. It's not the budget I would have proposed myself, and it is not without its glaring deficiencies. But this is a body now of 11, not a body of 1, and I respect and appreciate the will of my colleagues. We need a budget to fund the government, even if it isn't the budget with which I would be most comfortable. Unlike some on Capitol Hill, I don't believe we should hold the government hostage due to policy disagreements, even very significant ones. So soberly and cautiously, I will yield to the will of the body and vote to approve this budget, recognizing that it will create even tougher decisions as we move forward. And with appreciation for colleagues, and with that, Mr. President, I'll yield back to you.